Hey guys, how's it going? BCHD here. Welcome back to episode number 2 of season number 3 of the Parma Road to Glory career mode on FIFA 19. We are back better than ever for season number 3. Your support on episode 1 was absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you have shown on the return of the series. It is very much appreciated. Continue dropping your suggestions in the comments below as we continue on in this series, attempting to bring Parma to Champions League, European glory, and also Italian glory in there as well, as we're starting off Serie A. And this episode, we are starting off Serie A, of course, and we're doing some more transfers on deadline day and right before it, just before we get right into the thick of things for this season. But we'll get a funny offer for Sandro Tonali, our key player, the best wonder kid on the game, the best Italian wonder kid on the game, who we bought in the first season. And no way we're selling him to Borussia Dortmund, Champions League rivals, as they are in our group. As we move on to some transfer suggestions from you guys, Arif said to sign Upamecano, Lead said to sign Alphonso Davies, and also I77 said buy Bande as well. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but we are going to go and follow with what one of you guys said to sign Alphonso Davies. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity. Instead of Bande and instead of Upamecano, this is the perfect chance to get Alphonso Davies on the cheap. As you can see there, his value is 12 million, but he's got a release clause of 11.7 million. So we get him under his value. And as well, if we skip negotiations, if we wanted to negotiate ourselves and not pay the release clause, we would have had to pay more for him, probably around the 20 million range. So we're saving a lot of money here, and we're also using the release clause fee to its full potential as well. So we're getting a good deal for the Canadian Alphonso Davies. He's got an insane potential on FIFA 19 career mode as well, and I feel like he'd be a good backup for Lainez on that right hand side, and as well as Sancho in case any of them get injured. We have suspensions, we have a lot of games in rotation because this is a Champions League season. We need a lot of players. We need a lot of depth in this team. He can also play in the midfield as well. Or no, I just believe he can play on the wings, but it's a good player to play there. I mean, he is very decent. The Canadian recently signed for Bayern Munich in real life, but because we made this career mode before, January, so obviously he's still at the Whitecaps in the MLS, so we go ahead and sign him on a contract. We sign him up on a 5-year deal. Alphonso Davies joins us in this FIFA 19 Parma Road to Glory. He's now officially a Parma player. We activate his release clause, and he has joined us here. He can play right mid, left mid. He's 77 rated. He's still 19 years of age, and the Canadian has made the switch to Italy, to Parma, to get some Champions League football under his belt. And there you can see the shirt signing, the press conference for Alphonso Davies. We win the race for him for 11.7 million for his release clause. And yeah, great player. Look at those stats: sprint speed, acceleration, dribbling, agility, ball control, all in the dark greens, and their balance at a 77. Could be a decent player to train up as well. He's going to go straight to the bench, but could contest Diego Lainez for that starting right mid spot. But we're going to start off this episode with a big match. We're starting it off with a blockbuster clash between us, Parma, and Juventus, Italian champions. We all know the dominance of Juventus in Serie A and in Italian football in the past 10 years, and they have completely dominated things, but we are trying to achieve that with Parma here. So let's see how we go in one of our first Serie A games of the season. It's our first Serie A game at home at the Stadio Tardini, and we're going to continue here in Parma for this big clash. And Giorgio Chiellini still playing for Juve, which is interesting to see. Jordi Alba there, as well as Matteo Perin. Sergio Ramos has joined them, the man that did a few cheeky acts against them in the Champions League final all those years ago. The one where they versed Juventus in Wales and Real Madrid ended up winning. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but we continue on with Juventus continuing to attack here. They're coming at us in the first few minutes. We make a defensive error, giving it straight to them, and we let Spinazzola come through with a breakthrough goal for Juventus. They go 1-0 up away from home in the first 15 minutes, and we're starting on the back foot here. They also signed another Real Madrid player, Nacho, for Juventus. So very interesting signings from Juventus in this career mode. But we continue on. We go 1-0 down, but we are willing to find the equalizer here. We are on the board. David on the ball. He takes a finesse shot, And the Canadian, he's very happy that another fellow Canadian in Alphonso Davies has joined. David has made a great goal, a great impact here against Juventus, and has stunned them with the equaliser right before halftime. We get the goal to equalise things here to make it 1-1, and it's an assist from Murgia, our central midfielder. And what a goal it was, outside the box, finesse shot, beats Matteo Perin in the goal, and we get the equaliser. It goes through one of the defender's legs as well, and the team is very happy for the Canadian. They're getting one of his first goals in Serie A. He scored his second now in Serie A. He looks to be the man to step up for us this season to bag our goals, and he is looking like a very tasty player as we continue on. Phil Foden loses the ball out there. Spinazzola gives the ball straight to Cristiano Ronaldo, and we thought we were going into halftime with the equaliser, but it's the Portuguese man Cristiano Ronaldo doing the little C celebration and gets the 2-1 goal to edge Juventus closer to the win as they go 2-1 up right before halftime. Good for them, terrible for us, as we thought we equalised things before the half, but that is not how things turned out. As we go into the 50th minute, we give the ball away again, and it's another avoidable goal. Spinazzola gets a double here for Juventus. They go 3-1 up in the 50th minute, and again, it's an avoidable goal. They cross it in. It was a harmless cross. I attempt to clear the ball, and it goes straight into the path of Spinazzola. One-time finish, and he gets the third goal to make it 3-1. Unfortunate for us as Shaparenko comes on. We give the ball off to Petzela. He's trying to find an opening. Timothy Weah cuts inside and finds the bottom right-hand corner, beating out Matteo Perin. And we've got a game on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. After going 3-1 down, we end up getting the goal. It's a moment of magic from Timothy Weah. He sneaks that ball into the bottom right-hand corner. It's a beautiful finish from the man after he cuts inside, fools the defense, and slots it into the bottom right-hand corner. Beautiful goal from the American. And we're getting a lot of American influence in this episode. I've just started to realize we've got some Canadians, we've got some Americans in the team, and Juve nearly ended up getting the fourth there after a great shot. Comes off the crossbar. Luckily for us, didn't bounce in the back of the net, but we continue on trying to get the equalizer. Petzela finds Shaparenko, and his shot wasn't powerful enough and wasn't accurate enough to beat Matteo Perin in goal, and we end up losing 3-2. It's our first loss in Serie A, and it comes at the hands of Juventus, which is fair enough. I mean, they are a better team than us for now, but we continue on in our road to glory and attempt to build Parma up to one of the best teams in the world and bring them back to some European dominance as we continue on trying to get our second signing of the episode. We go after a player that we've gone after before. We attempted to get him in season number 2, I believe it was, but we didn't end up having enough funds to pull off the move, and I decided to get him now as we do have sufficient funds. It's Nicolas Koza, the centre-back from France, another French centre-back coming to join us, and he's from Montpellier. He has around 85 potential in Carimo, which is decent, and he is a good backup player, utility player for when we have to switch the back line around, when we have to switch the squad around because of stamina issues, because we're going to have a lot of stamina issues this season. I thought last season was bad, but we got Champions League, we got Coppa Italia, we got Serie A. It's going to be hectic this season, so I decided to reinforce the team as much as we can before the January transfer window in order to avoid these stamina problems and, you know, just players getting injured, suspended and all that stuff. So we future-proof the team with Nicolas Koza. We are going to contract negotiations with his agent, and the Frenchman looks like he's on the way to Parma, 21k a week. We go ahead and accept that, and he makes the move to Serie A, joining Parma. He's going to be a decent little signing for us, maybe making a few Champions League appearances as well. And it's our second signing on a deadline day, as well as Alphonso Davies a few days ago. But we continue on. He is our 6th signing of this career mode. We couldn't afford that French CDM from Bordeaux. I can't pronounce his name, but you can see him there. We couldn't afford him, so I went after Koza, another Frenchman, and we win the race for him. You can see there, the number 31. He can play centre-back and left-back as well, so he's pretty versatile, and he's a player I've had my sights on for a while for this part of my career mode. So he joins us, 72 rated. He has got some decent stats on him as well, and another silly offer from Huddersfield Town. I don't know how they got £47 million to bid on Jadon Sancho. They've bid on Jadon Sancho. He's 82 rated. He's probably one of our best players, our marquee player. And yeah, we just go ahead and reject all offers because he is going nowhere, as well as Sandro Tonali. Those are the two main players of this team. And you can see there all our transfer business this summer. We've spent 48 million and only sold one player in Gagliolo, our last Parma player on this team, as we've completely built an entirely different squad now compared to the Parma squad in real life. We sold our last Parma player in Gagliolo and he was off to a club, I believe it was in Brazil. So yeah, we continue on in Serie A. It's another massive game against Roma. As you can see there, we've got an action-packed schedule. We've got Roma away from home, Borussia Dortmund away from home. Then we've got a few games against Sassuolo, Cagliari and Shakhtar Donetsk, which will be interesting. But we're going to play our first Champions League game against Dortmund away from home. Before that, we're going to be playing the Roma game away from home at the Stadio Olimpico. We love a trip to the Stadio Olimpico. We do quite well there against Lazio and Roma, so I decided to play it right before our Champions League debut later in this episode, which is going to be absolutely insane. As you can see there, Roma struggling a bit. They're below us in the table, but we all know that they can do better. Daniele Verde there, starting for Roma, ex-Frosinone player from a few years ago, played for my team in Serie A, but didn't really do that much. But we continue on in this series as we come up against Roma. We're in our famous dark away kit that everyone seems to love this season, and in the comments down below as we continue on trying to do a bit of tiki-taka football, passing it around the back, but Roma win the ball back. Cengiz Ünder gets on the end of it. He whips the ball in, and waiting there is Daniele Verdi. We were talking about him before this match, how he formerly played for my club Frosinone, and he does a cheeky little dab on us. And he's returned to Roma and he's found the starting position. Good on him. But he's scored an absolute banger against us and no one was marking him in the box, which is pretty disappointing to see. But then we continue on. Phil Foden trying to redeem himself from last game. He finds a beautiful ball into the path of David. He gets his third goal in Serie A, our top goal scorer so far. Phil Foden with an absolutely majestic pass into the channels there for David, and he pulls that off convincingly. He finishes it in the bottom right hand corner, and the ball slowly bobbled into the corner, came off the post and into the goal. We get back into the match instantly, and Roma concede the equalizer thanks to David there, the Canadian. We take a shot. David could have got his second, but unfortunately for him, it just went wide of the post. As we continue on in the 91st minute. Nothing really happened in the second half, but Alphonso Davies comes on for his debut, takes a shot, and he could have been the hero on debut, getting the winner there. But unfortunately for us, that was the last chance of the game. We couldn't end up getting the winner. It's a 1-1 draw with Roma, which is pretty decent, but we could have ended up getting the winner there with Alphonso Davies. The two Canadians could have been the heroes. But this is our Champions League group, guys. I don't know if I showed it in episode 1, but it is Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, and Shakhtar Donetsk, which is absolutely insane. A Champions League group. Honestly, of course, I want to get out of the Champions League group, but it looks like, I mean, against all odds, we'll be in third position going straight to the Europa League. These are some of the other Champions League groups if you want to have a look at them, but what a group. We got some great trips to Borussia Dortmund, to Germany, to Spain for Barcelona, to Ukraine. It's going to be absolutely mental. So we're going to be kicking off our Champions League debut in this Parma career mode, which is going to be absolutely insane as we have a trip to Signal Iduna Park, and that is the team going to make the Champions League debut. We had a game against Roma a few days ago, so we had to rest a few key players in this game, but it's players such as Nicolas Cosa getting his debut for Parma in the Champions League. Brignola starts as well, so it's heavily rotated. Weah gets in there as well, and it's going to be a big game. This is what this career mode has been building up to, the Champions League. We finally get a go in the biggest competition in the world, the biggest club competition in the world, and that is the graphics packages. I'm going to miss the Europa League graphics package, but it's time to step up to the Champions League, and I don't know, there's just something special about a Champions League night, especially at Signal Iduna Park. So many decent games happening in the Champions League here, and hopefully we can make some memories in the Champions League this season, maybe go far in it as well. Taith Chong gets a start on the left hand side as well, and that is how Dortmund line up, and they've signed Henderson in there. They've signed Rashford as well. So it's a pretty weird team from Borussia Dortmund. You guys can pause and have a look. But that is our lineup, and Pardew makes it in there as well. Shaparenko gets a start. Nicolas Koza, as we mentioned earlier, gets his debut at the back with Bastoni and Pellegrini. But we get started off here with Brignola breaking through the Borussia Dortmund defense. He cuts inside, he lays the ball off, and it's Timothy Weah that's there. And it's cool, calm and collected finish from the American. He gets a back-to-back goals in his games that he started, and he got a goal against Juve in that 5-goal thriller at home, and he's gotten Parma's first ever goal in the Champions League this season, their debut goal in the Champions League away from home as well, in front of the Borussia Dortmund yellow wall. And Berkey actually got a hand to that, but it ended up flying in the top right left-hand corner. And Timothy Weah gets us a perfect start, a dream start in our Champions League debut against a superior German opposition in Borussia Dortmund. As we continue on in this career mode game, we got Borussia Dortmund attacking us, and it's Marcel Brozovic, the Croatian midfielder, absolutely smacking that one in before halftime on the 40th minute mark. It was a poor clearance from us, and Borussia Dortmund aren't messing around here. They get the equaliser, and it's Marcel Brozovic banging that one in. It was a great strike through the laces. Our keeper couldn't do nothing about that one. As we continue on, Brignola gets a chance straight after the goal goes in, and he's hit the left side of the post and it bounces out. Brignola could have got the goal that would take us into the lead right before halftime, but it comes off the post. I don't know why we are using the World Cup ball, not the Champions League ball in this game. Don't question it, but it's just happening as Marco Reus gets a shot in before halftime, but Fruchtel against fellow German opposition makes the save. As we continue on into the second half here, Timothy Weah gets a chance, he cuts inside, he has a shot, and it goes just wide of the post. He could have got his double there, but unfortunately for the American, goes wide of the post. And Borussia Dortmund on their last legs here, we're putting them on under pressure at home, and we continue on attempting to get the goal to put us in the lead, but Borussia Dortmund were doing so as well, and Fruchtel came up with a big hand to save us from conceding the second goal from Borussia Dortmund there. We continue on, but Brignola puts a lovely ball through to Alphonso Davies. It's his second game of the career mode. He cuts inside, he takes a shot, and it falls into, I don't even know what happened there, but it's the scrappiest goal you'll ever see, and Timothy Weah claims it. It was bubbling over the line. Timothy Weah pokes that one home. We couldn't take any risks there. I wanted Alphonso Davies to get his debut goal, and the Parma fans, the away travelling Parma fans, are going absolutely insane. The thing is, I don't even know what happened there. I don't know who it came off. I think it came off the Borussia Dortmund defender or the goalkeeper, but I think if it bobbled in anyway, it would have counted as an own goal, so it wouldn't have actually counted as Alphonso Davies' goal, and I didn't want to risk it because the defender could have come out of nowhere and cleared that off the line. So Timothy Weah nodded that one home. He gets his Champions League double on his Champions League debut. He's an absolute beast in this game, but Alphonso Davies still has to wait for his debut goal, and Fruchtel saves us. He pushes that goal onto the post, but it was offside anyway, and that's all that would happen in that Champions League game. We literally get a dream start here in the Champions League, winning 2-1 against Borussia Dortmund. Mind that voice crack, but Timothy Weah gets his double, the scrappiest goal you ever see in the Champions League, as well as a brilliant goal in the first half to get us 2-1, 3 points in the Champions League group. It's a crucial 3 points, as that was our away trip to Borussia Dortmund, as we have a game against Sassuolo coming up in Serie A straight after, as we go 1-0 down. Jonathan David gets us the equaliser in this game. A motorbike decides to rev its engine right outside my house to celebrate that equaliser, but we continue on against Sassuolo. It's actually a regional derby, if you guys didn't know, but we end up finishing it 1-1. But in this training session, Tonali goes up to an 81, as well as Impadu going up to a 73, which is always good to see. Stats rising in the training sessions, that's what they're for. But we continue on. We are going to go into the next game against Cagliari. Is it Cagliari? Yeah, it's Cagliari away from home at the Sardinia Arena. We are going to Sardinia for this one. It's an away game again. We've had about 3 or 4 away games in this episode, and it's actually crazy. But away I get to start. Stancho, Lainez, Tonali, Lee, Shaparenko as well in there. Koza and Bastoni are going to be the centre-back partnership. Rueg is back in the team as well as Petzela, but we get the opener there. Lainez gets a 53rd minute goal, but Pavoletti gets the equaliser, and it's 2 back-to-back 1-1 draws As we continue on in this career mode, we drop 2 points at home to Sassuolo and also drop points against Cagliari away from home after getting the opener thanks to Diego Lainez. But we continue on to our second Champions League game of the episode and of the career mode, and it's against Shakhtar Donetsk at home. The Ukrainians are going to visit the Stadio Ennio Tardini, and I decided to simulate this one because I thought we'd get a win out of this. We'd get a few points. We're at home. We can field a strong team. We've got Sancho, David, Davies starting, Foden starting at the center attack and midfield spot. Tonali's in there as well. So it's a decent team to go into. Merges made his way back into the team, as well as Kamara and Romagna at the back. So I was feeling confident with this Parma side. This is probably the strongest team we can field out in the Champions League, and it's a great home debut for the Stadio Ennio Tardini in the Champions League. We go up to a 2-0 win. It's Davies getting his first goal for Parma, Pezzella getting the second, and the Shakhtar get a consolation or a goal to half the deficit to make it 2-1, but Davies gets his second goal to make it 3-1, but then in the 87th minute, Fernando gets a consolation in the end. It's 3-2, but it's a 5-goal thriller at the Stadio Ennio Tardini for the home debut of the Champions League there. And we're going to be playing more games such as against Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona there. So a lot to look forward to at home in the Champions League for Parma. Davies gets a double similar to how Timothy Weah did it in the first Champions League game, and he ended up getting us the win with a 3-2 thriller. Nail-biting end there for the home fans, but David goes up to an 82. Loving the growth so far in this career mode season. As we have a look at the table at the end of the episode in Serie A, we're currently sitting in 11th, 6 games played. We've only won once, we've drawn 4 times, and we lost that game to Juventus. This is our first loss of the season. We got 7 points so far, so we're looking to focus. I don't know where we should shift our focus to, the Champions League or Serie A, but you can see there the teams Napoli, Inter, Milan, Atalanta making it into the top 4 there. Roma and Lazio sitting outside the top 6, but Juventus sitting in 7th, which is surprising. And it's Bologna, Frosinone and Empoli that are in the relegation zone back to Serie B, but there is still a long way to go in Serie A, and there is a long way to go in this season number 3. We've got Champions League, Coppa Italia, Serie A to look forward to. So if you guys did enjoy this career mode episode for the Parma Road to Glory, please make sure to smack a like on the video, subscribe for some more FIFA 19 career mode content, follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and I'll catch you guys on the very next video.